Tennis should be played at high volume, preferably in a residential area.
Alright, now we got boom to the head, sports fans. All you sports fans out there, welcome to the OMSR with your brief but very concise host, Will, the alternative ESPN Sports Thrill. Had a little rotation on that brief thrill. College of Charleston could have used some of that yesterday. Alright, briefly and concisely, we're talking about, I've never seen this show before. It's mostly a reminder to my subs. This is what is meant by what I've said over the years. Catch one of the many catchphrases of the OMSR. You must conduct yourself with class and dignity at all times. Tony Bennett. College basketball's version of Jean-Claude. Very classy. As opposed to Roy Williams when lost national championship to Carmelo and the Cuse. Not classy. Which is why I submit to you, UNC does not have a big national following ever since he went there to coach at Chapel Hill. Brendan Haywood's head coach got a raw deal. Anywho, talking about UMBC, join while you can. They will not be moving on. Kansas State. It's a good matchup for them. Not so much UMBC. They might have been able to have done it to Creighton. And so we got a lot of reaction because it's a momentous moment in sports history. That's what I do on this channel. You can see there's a lot of it going on. I will just say this about the seeding. And committee this year kind of not the best of jobs. Like Kentucky's only 2 slots down from Michigan State because Michigan State lost in the tournament for the Big Ten. They go down to a 3 when they were number 1 in the country and so forth and so on. Virginia was overall number 1. Everyone fell in love with only their 2 losses. But it's like Kenny the Jet Smith you'll see coming up here and others' expert opinion. Like you got to be willing to change up your game. And practice that sometimes, even though the style you've played has gotten you as far as it has. You've got to be able to have a backup plan. It's called contingency planning, which is great business, not so much done in sports. All right, thanks for watching. The silly DUIs while you're up there. Roll clips.
They completely controlled that second half, and Virginia had no answers for them.
Yeah, very good defensive team is the team that they beat.
Yeah, I said it before, I said it earlier, the road to greatness, you have to be uncomfortable. They refused to be uncomfortable and speed the game up, unfortunately, and then came out with the loss.
This tournament never ceases to amaze me. It's other than Olympics, it's the greatest thing I've ever been to in my life. It's awesome.
All right, guys, let's take you back to Charlotte, where Tracy Wilson spoke with Virginia head coach Tony Bennett.
Coach, it was a struggle from the start. That second half, though, got out of control. Can you pinpoint what took place and what the problem was?
Yeah, no, we got our butts whipped. That was not even close. And that's first a credit to the job Ryan did, Coach Odom. Their offense was very hard to guard. They shot it well. We kept getting broken down and did a poor job. And, I told our guys we had a historic season in terms of most wins in the ACC. A week ago, we're cutting down the nets and the confetti's falling, and then we make history by being the first 1 seed to lose. I'm sure a lot of people will be happy about that, and it stings. But trying to tell the guys in there, this is life. It can't define you.
Really screw up my life source here, but it's necessary.
When you step into the arena, and a lot of people don't understand that. When you step into the arena and you're in the arena, the consequences can be historic losses, tough losses, great wins, and you have to deal with it, and that's the job. But we got thoroughly outplayed. Did not play well. We had a hard time with their mobile 4s and their 4 guards, and I don't know what to say, but that was a thorough butt whipping.
I appreciate the time. Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Tony Bennett telling it like it is. Interesting note, Jairus Lyles of UMBC, both his parents, University of Virginia alums.
Wow.
First of all, young lad with such class and dignity. The guy's a great coach. Virginia has a great program. But man, I told you, it's an honor and a privilege to broadcast this tournament. You see that it sucks. Losing just sucks.
It hurts.
It hurts, man. I mean, because Greg, he said something. The only people that actually matter are the people who actually go to practice every day, who do all the run up and down and who lift the weights. But when it's over, it's painful, plain and simple.
Yeah. It is that. And he said exactly what happened. That team, the Retrievers, was much better than them. They couldn't guard them. And that's why they ended up coming up short. They just could not handle the quickness and speed and shot making of the UMBC Retrievers. And it happens that way sometimes in a one-and-done format. If you don't handle your opponent and do what you do well, then you're going to have a tough time beating them, no matter what the seed numbers say. Although I think it's the greatest, it's one of the greatest sports upsets across all sports. It's clearly the greatest in college basketball. And you go beyond that.
Buster Douglas,
You can go any direction you want. It's way up there. Way up there.
Yeah, the one thing I will say is that they played teams like this throughout this regular season. There's teams in the ACC that you can't stay in front of if you're not playing correctly or you're not playing defense correctly. So what changed it tonight?
Well, the injury
The injury to DeAndre Hunter. Yeah, that was big. But what changed it tonight to me was also the first time that they've gotten down that big, meaning you're down 8. And then you really have to change, because I thought during the regular season in ACC, a lot of times they were only down 2 or 3, down 4. You didn't have to change your style. And today, I wanted them to change their style because I think they would have gotten this win. But UMBC, man, congratulations, man.
Gotta give them
I saw history tonight.
One thing for sure, they will never again say that a 16 can't beat a 1. UMBC squad absolutely dismantled the best defense in the country. And remember, it's a team that defeated Vermont in the America East Final in the final second.
That's right. Jairus Lyles knocked down a big shot in that game. He made big play after big play here. But this,
So where's Vermont?
that's what cemented in the annals of history, UMBC Retrievers, and they dominated. It was much like Buffalo, Arizona last night on steroids.
Yes.
Because Virginia couldn't guard them, they couldn't stop them, and it just steamrolled into a historic and epic 16-1 seed.
Well, we said it, this is obviously the biggest, when Charles, the question was asked, is it the biggest upset in college basketball history?
Yes.
I said yes.
Without question.
And this is going to rank up with the Buster Douglas, Mike Tyson, the Miracle on
Any
Ice.
historic
Yeah,
upset, this is going to the top.
This is going to the top. But listen, the one thing that I always say, to win a championship, and I've been blessed to be on championship teams in the NBA, you have to change for a series or a game. And you have to do, the only way to greatness is uncomfortability. At some point, you have to be uncomfortable. And Virginia refused to be uncomfortable and said, we're going to play fast today because we are down. And we're going to press you, and we're going to show that we're stronger and bigger and faster.
The game has changed. You can't hold every team to 55 points because of the three-point shot. The game has changed. Virginia, as much as I like their program, this is not even a great team they lost to, but you can't win 6 straight games with a three-point shot in basketball today and win a championship. You just can't do it.
Just remember this. This was a 21-21 tie at halftime before UMBC scored 53 in the second half, won it by 20-74-54. Let's take you back out to Charlotte and rejoin Jim, Grant, Bill.
Thank you, Greg, and that was fascinating hearing the context and how these guys rank this in terms of history. And, Grant, you won championships. Raph, you've been around the game for a long time. How about your thoughts of putting this in perspective?
I know you were in grade school in 1985, and going on, a lot of people thought the prize was bigger, obviously, but they had played Georgetown so well all year, it wasn't a surprise to people. And they used the comparison of it, this was a welterweight in maybe people's eyes, not the players and coaches' eyes, taking on a heavyweight, a dynamite program that had a sensational year.
We never seen it. We've seen it in our lifetime. Because, again, with the way college basketball was going, and with the teams often being younger, maybe one year you run into an older team, and maybe they catch the match without big a night. But, this is not a one-and-done program here for Virginia that UMBC beat tonight. This is the team that going on the entire season. This just completely changed the entire feel of this tournament.
What I love is they didn't back off at all. I mean, they just,
there's been 15 over.
neither one of these,
Again, it was 135.
just believed in one another and a lot that they accomplished. When you bet together,
I often wonder, we all know Tony's done it really well, and again, you roomed with him for a national team, and teams often being wonderful coach. Maybe one year you run into an older team. How devastating is this? Maybe they catch for this magic of one night, but this was not a one and done program here in Virginia that UMBC beat tonight.
What he has done with that program and how they lost teenagers throughout the regular season, going to the ACC,
and completely changed the entire feel of this tournament.
One night they were out of the wall.
I mean,
great team, Jim. They came out, believed in each other, every shot, played with confidence, and really just made history.
In the brackets across the country, I was reading, majority of the people had either Villanova or Virginia winning the national. And we all know Tony does really well, and you roomed with him for a national here, and we may never see. He's a wonderful coach. Great guy. Beaten one and beat him devastating points for this Virginia program.
It is so devastating, Tony Bennett. Just epitomizes class, character, integrity, what he has done with that program, and how they dominated throughout the regular season, going to the ACC, regular season conference tournament, but they just, that one night, they were out of sync, and they played a great team that came out, believed in each other, hit every shot, played with confidence, and really just made history.
In the brackets across the country, I was reading, majority of the people had either Villanova or Virginia winning the national championship. Doesn't get out of the first game. Just amazing night here. And many of us thought we may never see. But this team has, in fact, beaten one and beat them by 20 points here.
20-point favorites in the NCAA tournament are now 155 and 3 straight up as they flip the script and they Virginia gave up 53 points in the second half. They gave up 53 on average in a game this season. Number 1 in D1. Cinderella, where dreams are made. Cinderella wear yellow and black. Players, they were talking about the 30 for 30.
Cinderella retrievers for Baltimore County, Maryland. And a moment of just over 13,000. One of the most famous along with Kathleen Turner, best known for her roles in War of the Roses and Peggy Sue Got Married. For Darius Wild,
Jewel of the Nile,
game-winning three-pointer in the
Romance in the Stone,
championship game with those 28 points to lead.
Going from cute to like really great.
Man, those guys were cool.
20 points
All right, if your bracket is busted, and we know it is,
155
because
and 3
everyone
straight
is,
up.
over 16 million people have Cavaliers getting past UMBC. 16 million, think about that. And as the tournament goes deeper, the faith just increased, because over 3 million had Virginia winning the national title. That made them the most popular national title retrievers for Baltimore County, Maryland. Historic moment of just over 13,000. One of the most famous awards, Kathleen Turner, best known for her roles in War of the Roses and Peggy Sue Got Married.
#1 team that I've ever seen.
Darius Wild,
Virginia
game-winning three-pointer in the
Romance
national
in the Stone.
championship game with those 28 points to lead.
Going from cute to like really great.
Man, those guys were cool. All right, if your bracket is busted, and we know it is,
busted. I was
because
first Mike Tyson in boxing.
over
This is the
16
college
million
basketball
people
version of the
have
Miracle on
Cavaliers
Ice.
getting past UMBC. 16 million, think about that. And as the tournament goes deeper, the faith just increased, because over 3 million had Virginia winning the national title. That made them the most popular national title pick in the tournament challenge. An epic, historic upset and reaction across the board.
Great. They made shots.
This is the most stunning collapse of a #1 team that I've ever seen. Virginia was
13 times
very un-Virginia-like.
53
I mean, they
points
were
in an entire
horrible.
game. They gave up 53 points in the second half.
Wow. I got so much running in my brain right now. I'm telling you, I got this team, that team, and all I'm thinking
This
about
is Buster
UMBC.
Douglas,
You know what else I'm
first
thinking
Mike
about?
Tyson in boxing. This is the college basketball version of the Miracle on Ice.
A 3-0 win. They didn't only just win, they actually knocked them out. It was a complete
Dickie V
knockout.
echoing
Not
the
even a
talk of many of us. I mean, it's over. It is over. All right, not only did UMBC make 16-seed history, check this out. Their scoring margin was historic. That 20-point victory tied the largest win by any unranked team against an AP number one, regardless of when the game was played, much less in the NCAA tournament. And this dates all the way back to the late 1940s when the AP poll era
53 points in the second half.
Wow. I got so much money in my mind right
we're
now.
learning names and learning about the school. I had to get a
and all I'm
printout to
thinking
just
about
find out about it.
UMBC. You know what I'm thinking about? Rip
1966.
this up. I practice and all the practice.
Bay Retriever, now the most important breed in America. We had America's grandma history. We now have America's
Dickie
dog.
B,
And I
echoing the
have
thoughts of many of us. I mean, it's over. It is over. All right, not only did UMBC make 16-seed history, check this out. Their scoring margin was historic. That 20-point victory tied the largest win by any unranked team against an AP number one, regardless of when the game was played, much less in the NCAA tournament. And this dates all the way back to the late 1940s when the AP poll era began.
My sophomore year, losing to Weber State.
And we were learning names and learning about the school. I had to get a printout to just find out about it.
Those kids,
They've been around since
1966. They're going to show that game. This game's going to be shown forever.
They still show the most important breed in America.
Weber State instant classic.
We had America's grandma's history. We now have America's dog, and I haven't had a golden
retriever. It comes on. I have to see the game. I have to see myself project
as a
these kids are
player,
going to forget
you've
that.
experienced a lot of highs and lows.
UMBC. Man, this is going to be a moment that lives on forever. 20, 30, 40 years from now, they're still going to be able to enjoy the joy of this game. So that just shows you the disparity. Some people got to wear this feeling in a bad way. Then there's going to be another group. They're going to come into that one moment. I worked all my life for that one moment.
Other than how cool is this, I don't know what else can you say.
You're right. Weber State. Now, it was a 3-14. It wasn't quite this big, but it's still one of those
Stanford
moments.
was a one
Those kids in the NBA, they got to wear that forever.
Harvard, that was
They're going to show that game. This game's going to be shown forever. They still show the UNC game using the Weber State instant classic. Every time the 48 tournament comes around, I turn the instant classic, it comes on. I have to see the game. I have to see myself projected walking off the court. These kids are never going to forget that. And on the flip side, UMBC, man, this is going to be a moment that lives on forever. 20, 30, 40 years from now, they're still going to be able to enjoy the joy of this game. So that just shows you the disparity. Some people got to wear this forever in a bad way. Then there's going to be another group. They're going to enjoy this moment for a lifetime.
This is how things like this happen. This is why, I don't know what else can you say. Tonight, the alums and the fans. The University of Maryland, Baltimore County. They rise up.
Stanford was a one seed.
Lost to Harvard.
Harvard, that was a
There's a lot of partying going on that campus tonight.
Men's basketball welcoming party.
Not on that.
But I think what's echoing in my head is Coach Helmet always would tell me, no. Don't do it.